You should do that. We need to go over and do a live show over there too.
Yeah.
Sleds.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Got the internet and stuff like that. All right,
cool.
cool. Not yet. I haven't had a chance to look at it. So, hey everybody, Dave Jason. We need to go over and do a live show. Got Ryan Zolik over here in the Green Bay Packer, and our in-studio guest tonight, Matt Ingham from Wisconsin Polling Promoters. And Matt, the reason we asked you on the show is because I don't think anybody has done more specifically for the state of Wisconsin than you. Because you don't care whether it's NTPA, Badger State Tractor Pullers, or a Garden Tractor Club. You promote the whole state of Wisconsin. And what I want to see happen tonight is I want to see other people, because there's other people who have had your ideas. I've talked to people from Iowa, Illinois. You know, with the social media, we all agree, how do we put more fans in the stands? Say you had 1,000 fans at your poll last year. How do you put another 10% in there? How do you make it 1,100 this year? If we had 3,000 fans, how do you kick it up to 3,500 fans? And I think with what you're doing with Wisconsin Polling Promoters, and I see that you're starting other different things going like that, I want to see other people follow your lead. I kind of want to tell us your vision, where you're taking Wisconsin Polling Promoters. Talk about your website. Talk about the Facebook page. You know, we try to do what we can here to support you with the Beer Money Polling Team. You're a good friend of ours. What you do for Wisconsin polling is huge. And, you know, we talk about Let's Grow Polling. Like Ryan and I was driving home from the wedding Sunday, and I called Ryan, like, Ryan, we just got to go on tonight. We went on Sunday night. And because all we've been talking about is Gordyville. Gordyville. We have a guest that comes on, and we talk about Gordyville because, well, that's where the remedy's going. I'm like, there's the Kentucky Invitational. Ryan, what do we have? Cloverdale. We talked about Farm Machinery Show last night. What else did we talk about last night? Murfreesboro. We talked about the Cornhusker Classic. There are so many indoor polls out there. But, you know, we live in our little world, if you will. And that's kind of what you talk about, what we know. So we talk about Badger State Tractor Pullers a lot. We talk about Lucas Oil. You know, Brandon goes to a lot of ISP polls and different things like that. But, you know, we still are kind of in our little world like that, and where you have opened up the whole state of Wisconsin, and anybody who wants to know what's going on with polling in Wisconsin, they go to Wisconsin Polling Promoters. So welcome to Let's Grow Polling Live.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. This has obviously been kind of in the works for a while, and, you know, I'm starting to get to know you better, you know, the last few years, and we've kind of gotten closer and worked on a lot of things. So I first want to say thank you for all that you've done for me, because you've been a huge inspiration, and since I've moved down here and come to your shows, I mean, that's where I see my little shows back home is turning into something like that someday, and so it's just great. So I mean, definitely some great inspiration, and you know, I'm honored to be here. You know, this is polling, this is fun. You know, this is just us kicking back and talking about what we love. So.
Yeah. But how do we grow it? And that seems to be the way. And I think just exposure and awareness of all the different clubs of, you know, what are the different clubs in Wisconsin? There's NEW, there's Central Truck Pullers. I didn't even hear of these clubs until I met you.
Yeah,
I never heard of them, didn't know anything about them. And they're good clubs. Brandon's went and take pictures of them at some of their events. We got. I know that's from, what poll is that, Brandon?
That's from Thorpe.
That's from Thorpe. Got a good looking truck over there. And there's some good equipment. You know, a lot of, and you know a lot about the trucks. You know, and you brought a good bunch of them down to us at Hybrid Redneck Rally. So you're really crossing those lines with us like that, and I really appreciate you doing that. So where are you at right now?
You know, right now I'm just kind of trying to reset a little bit in the winter here. Got a lot of ideas, and like you said, a lot of people bring ideas to me too, and it's just a matter of kind of sorting them out, figuring out, you know, what I can handle, what I can't. You know, I'm still, you know, a small fish in a big pond, if you will, right now.
Yeah, but it takes a lot. Here's what polling's going to be. It's going to be a bunch of small fishes. And I talked to Eric Pruitt and Ray from the Polling Radio Network this morning, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a bunch of small fishes just working together to kind of just bring awareness to all the different levels of polling. You know what I mean? So we're going to do our thing with the Beer Money Polling Team. Brandon does an awesome job with the Facebook page. I enjoy the live show. I got Brent, you know, taking care of the tractor and our team like that. Ryan's doing engineering. You know, we're going to work on some sponsorship to try to do some more stuff for the show and the polling team, kind of do some cross promoting as well, because we feel like we can bring exposure to builders. You know what I mean? Like in the industry. Yep. And I like what you do for promoting polls. You know, so how do we work together and different things like that? So that's what it takes.
Well, and like you said, I mean, there's so much just in Wisconsin. I mean, I love what you guys do, because you're starting to get out there and hit more of the nationwide, where I'm still trying to bring a lot of Wisconsin that's not known into the polling world. So, I mean, there's a lot right here, you know. People say all the time they love to travel because there's so much out there. Well, you can travel in Wisconsin and find out there's a lot here as well. And
well, you'll find out tonight when we look at the stats. And I got to leave at 7:45 tonight for the choir concert for my son. But when you and Ryan look at the stats after the show, after you talk to Clint, you'll talk to Clint from Gordyville tonight, or Ryan will. You're going to find out that about 20% of the people that watch the show tonight are from Wisconsin. So this is your
Oh,
you got a good fan base tonight. It's not just Badger State tractor pullers. It's not just WTPA. Because at the end of the day, everybody in this room, we know that there's a lot more pulling. I'm going to say at the hot farm level, at the gas open stock level, at the 2.5 diesel truck level, than there is 4.1s and super farms and super stock diesel trucks, because that's where pulling started. You know what I mean? And there's a lot. And that's what's popular on our page as well, too, because it's simple fact. I got to see my truck on the Beer Money Pulling Team Facebook page, and that's what it takes. And because not everybody gets to see the bigger stuff all the time. They can sometimes relate closer to that. Because when do you get to see Grand National type level pulling with multi-engine modifieds in Wisconsin? Toma and Hillsboro. Yeah. That's it. If you miss those two, that's the only time you're going to see that stuff. Like, I love putting up pictures of Bollinger's Money Pit. 3 Allisons, dude, that's the coolest sound in the world.
And I don't want to ruin a surprise, but they might be coming a third time this year from what I'm being told. So
that'd be awesome. But that's my point. That's my point. So when you talk about pulling for the masses, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Pulling for the masses. That's what we're trying to do, and I think that's what you do for Wisconsin. And I hope there's some other people like that live in other states in the Midwest, and the South, the East, even the West, that go, hey, how can I do what Matt's doing for my state that Matt's doing for Wisconsin? Because it takes a lot of work. And Brandon spends 20, 30 hours a week on sometimes more than that on the Facebook page. And you know how much time it takes to do all that. Yep. Just getting the videos up, the editing and different things like that. Just for a 15-second video, it's incredible.
Sure.
But that's what our fans enjoy. And social media is so video now. Everything's video. We're live on Instagram right now. Yeah. If anybody's watching our Instagram page. I think, Brandon, we're up to about 37,000 followers probably on Instagram. Something like that.
We had 600 viewers.
We had 600 viewers last night
on Instagram.
And we had 84,000. We reached 84,000 people on a Sunday night. Just popped on the old Facebook and just sat down and started talking about other polls. And that's what's great about we've built that likes up and that fan base, and now we need to reach out to them. That's why it's good having you in to talk about Wisconsin polling. So.
Yeah, and I mean, there's, like I said, there's a lot going on for Wisconsin polling. I think it's getting bigger. There's a lot of small polls that are trying to move up into the next realm. You see polls that are kind of slowly but surely starting to inch up to Toma. I mean, Toma's still going to be your grand national event, but there's other events that are pushing. I mean, you obviously know Don very well. I got a chance to meet him, and you see how big his events got.
It's huge.
And Hillsboro's huge.
Yep.
This year I got a chance to go to Macville. I spent some time with you there. That event's getting big.
That's been around. That's one of those hidden gems in Wisconsin. It's like almost 50 years Macville's been going on.
It's about as long as Toma.
Yep.
Sure.
And they've actually mimicked what Toma has done just on a smaller scale.
Sure. And I mean, I imagine they haven't had Lucas Oil that long.
We had Lucas Oil when Forrest first started Lucas Oil. We brought him in right away because we had the Badger State show.
That used to be a Grand National event right before Toma.
So you go Macville.
So and you can kind of see how that's gotten to be a lot bigger. I mean, there's other events that are...
They average 3,500, 4,000 fans each night. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. So.
And I mean, I think a lot of these events, they're definitely maxed out. You can see that if these events had more parking, if these events had more pulling track space, I mean, these events would be twice as big. So.
Oh, absolutely.
So I mean, that's something that places are always trying to look at. They're always trying to fix. But I mean, some of the things that like. Something I want to talk about, here that, I've been working on recently is obviously my pulling video series. I'm only up to 2, but got a lot of interest from people.
We got to get ours done.
Yep. Yeah, I'm working on, hopefully the Beer Money will be number 3 here. And initially it was just a chance to get out there and meet the pulling teams. Once you get them in front of the camera, once you get them in front of the microphone, they love to talk. They just want to talk about their team, about all the people who've helped them, all the time and effort they put into it. And then it kind of became a twofold idea this year where, since this is the first time I've done it, I've gotten a chance to meet some really intelligent people who can talk about that class.
Yep.
So it's not only learn about the team, but it's learn about the class. So, I mean, I got to...
And do you have those posted up on your website or on your Facebook page? Ryan can actually transition over and show
right
the
now
fans
they are they're on my Facebook page. I mean, my website is down right now because I'm rebuilding it.
That's right.
It's also on my YouTube page, which...
So right now all the fans, Matt, are seeing Wisconsin Polling Promoters. Again, if you're just joining us, Let's Grow Polling Live. We have Matt Ingham with us. He started Wisconsin Polling Promoters, and his purpose is to promote Wisconsin polling at all levels.
So if you go to my videos, you should be able to see him under the videos there. And again, they're a work in progress. I'm not a master as far as, I use the most simple software. I'm starting to get back into it, so now that the more I do it, I'm picking up on some of the little tricks, the way to make them a little fancier. But
again, this is just exposure, bud.
Oh, and I mean, it's huge. I mean, I got a chance to probably, promote about a dozen polls last year. My first one, which I'll always be thankful for, is the showdown in Kurdtown. I know you talk about that. Doug is a good friend.
Doug Barth?
Yeah, you obviously know Doug. I talked to him the other night. They're hoping to build up their show even bigger. But, I mean, they reached out, and, I got a chance to meet some great people and just do some simple videos. And, like I said, I'm always trying to find the little things that are missing, and a lot of it just comes down, and I know Brandon sees this, I know you guys have seen this, is that a lot of these pools, they're missing just the simplest things like times or locations or,
Start on time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
scraper driver not to go 3 miles an hour.
Or an address. They might say, oh, the pool's in Richland Center, but we're in Richland Center. Because when you get there, you can be driving around forever. It could be on the edge of town. And I mean, so those are things I'm trying to fix, trying to get the word out, because that just makes everybody else's life a little bit easier. But you see the videos, the first one I got to do was Dan Brzezowski. He has the International, that big blue truck.
Yep.
I mean, the most unique thing in the world. And he is as smart as they come. He's become a good friend. I've watched him since I was a kid. And he's extremely smart. He got a chance to talk, and that was just kind of an ad-lib section or show because it was the first one. And then, of course, the other week I got to meet John Stranley. Talk to him. He's always
president of Tri-County Mini Rod Pullers, driver and owner of Chicken on Chain.
Yeah, and I always love listening to him announce because he's just so smart. He can knock out each class and still throw in a laugh or two. And I got to meet his team, just great people, and they cleaned up the shop immaculate. They had all their mini rods sitting out. And like I said, I'm hoping.
Here's your episode right here. They can click on.
Yep, they can just click on. I mean, I just posted on my YouTube, but it's on my pulling page there on Facebook, and just go right into it. And
Brandon, you want to post a link up on our Facebook page?
And of course, that one there, I
Pulling
unfortunately had to edit a few things out because we kind of started BSing too long. I got long-winded, and that's the problem. I find out is people, they can't sit there and watch videos for hours. It needs to be a little shorter. But had a great time. Like I said, great people, and they welcomed me in, and I know I'll get a chance hopefully to talk to John again when I start trying to meet with some of the presidents here, and I want to start getting some videos out talking about their specific clubs, and John will talk about Tri-County.
So what made Matt Ingham say, I'm going to promote Wisconsin pulling?
I've when I kind of came on here before, I got to introduce myself a little bit, talk about how I came from a small town. My family lived across the street from the park where we have a huge fair. I mean, a town of 1,000 people. It's a 3-day free fair. The tractor pulls are all free. We used to have a huge demolition derby, which was free. But being around that, I just thought, man, that's so exciting. That's something I want to get involved with. And then as time went by, I started to realize a little bit that, maybe I don't have the mechanical skills to build a truck or the financial, gains to make one. So this is something I can do. I'm good with talking to people. I'm good at going out and getting involved. And, I'm getting better at the social media part. So I put it all together, and I thought, well, I can be a promoter. So.
What is the one thing that you learned from 2016 that you're going to do a better job in 2017, you think? Or not one thing, but a couple things?
Well, in 2016, I got a good opportunity. I mean, some great people. I'm going to give a shout out to Ben and to Sean and the great people, and Tony of Western Wisconsin. They kind of brought me in. They gave me an opportunity.
Is that Western Wisconsin Truck Pullers?
Western Wisconsin Truck Pullers. That's who comes to my hometown this last year. They came twice because we added the final pull of the year. That was something that me and a couple other people got involved with and kind of built. And anyways, so I basically followed them at every pull this year, and I didn't really get an opportunity to branch out. And that's something I'm hoping to do more this year is I want to get out to everybody, meet all the different organizations and different club presidents and people and stuff. So I mean, there's probably at least close to 20.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
We have an issue.
Oh, our live video.
Disconnected here.
Our OBS. Okay.
I don't know why.
Oh, it's back.
Back now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had
So
we had a quick issue.
technical difficulty.
Hey,
on my end,
that's the
so-
name of the
It's-
truck I
it's
helped
a cold
them out.
weather.
Technical
It's a cold
difficulties.
weather.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, that's what my car is experiencing.
So if you're just joining us, we got Matt Ingham in studio. Talk about Wisconsin pulling promoters. So, and that's kind of what we want to get out there is what's going on in Wisconsin. What do you see happening in Wisconsin? So, what are some of the clubs that maybe if you're just a mainstream pulling fan and you just say, let's say you just know the NTPA or the WTPA and the Badger State Tractor Pullers.
Sure.
What else are you missing in the state of Wisconsin?
Well, and I mean, I'm going to go back to my roots here, and I'm going to talk about, several of them. But first and foremost, I want to give a shout out again to Western Wisconsin, to Midstate. Midstate for the last 10 years or so was Central. They had some disagreements. They've moved on and they've disbanded, and now they're
So it's not
Midstate. It's Midstate now. It used to be Central Truck Pullers.
Okay, so it's called now. Is that something new this year?
Yeah, I mean
That's the first time I've heard the word Midstate.
Midstate is Central. They
Okay.
just switched names. They got a new guy in charge.
Okay.
It's the same group for the most part. But anyways, those two clubs, they're the only places you're going to see left in Wisconsin that still run on traditional, nights. They're going to run your mod trucks. So,
Okay.
I mean, to me, again, I'm a truck guy. I love seeing the mod trucks. That's, to me, still the cream of the crop when it comes to trucks. You're not going to see them down here anywhere. I mean, once in a great while,
You're
Badger
going to see
State
them
runs
churn
them.
of dirt this year. I'm bringing in the Champions Tour.
Well, if that's the case,
just
then,
letting you know.
Well, that's good to know. I'll be there.
Well,
But
we gotta do it.
they're up
Gotta
there.
do
They run mod trucks every week, so I mean that's part of their big show. You go into Northeastern, I mean they run trucks and tractors. It's Northeastern Wisconsin, and they're all up in the small towns too, and they get to some big shows. You work your way down. Of course, you got your group over there with Midwest, who we got a chance to meet real well.
Yeah, we went down to their. That was really neat. They had their
workshop.
They brought in some promoters, and they talked about that. What was there that day? Some promoters. Yeah, they're all promoters.
Yep.
And you were there. I was there. Don was there. Brandon was there. We just talked about what we do to promote our events, what we do, and it gave kind of everybody in the room to kind of share their success stories, what they learned from in the past, and different stuff like that. Because it's still about education and promoting.
Oh, absolutely.
What have you seen? What are some of the best I still believe polling we need to entertain more. We need to entertain, we need a faster show, which I mean, to Brandon's point earlier, faster between the hooks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a couple minutes, let's have those vehicles hooked up, because there is some dead space in polling. Yeah. But you got to have dead space because the pullers bring in $100,000 machines, and they deserve a good, fair surface, right?
And that's something I know Don kind of alluded to when we met, and it's unfortunate that I work in the EMS field where volunteers make up still a large portion of what we do. And it's kind of the same with truck and tractor pulling. You go to all these one-time events throughout the year, and it's made up of volunteers.
Yep.
And they're just not, around as much anymore. And then you get to some events, and you're lucky if you get volunteers to help out.
You could have a banana and a gorilla racing down the track.
That's certainly an opportunity.
Platteville, on the scraper tractor, they had one guy dressed up as a banana.
Oh, there you go. It's like a sausage
gorilla. But you know what? The kids like that stuff, and it's fun. And I know it's little quirky things like that, but it's something different.
No,
I
agree.
think people need to think outside the box on some of that stuff.
But kind of where that idea was running is that there's still a lot of little things that you're just not going to get with a small town show because it's not the professionals, it's not the guys who do it all the time, and that's where you're going to get your leg. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm kind of biased. I go to your shows every year, and hands down, I mean, you bring so much to your shows, and I enjoy listening to the back and forth that you and Don have. Don, like he says, he's strictly truck and tractor pull. 3 hours, we're done. You bring more to your event. And
Slama hasn't been done in 3 hours of his life. He's smoking a big fat one.
This year
because he's talking about it because he's going to four sessions. He said,
and it's already up on
4 sessions.
Website.
Yeah, Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, Friday night, Saturday night,
and he's only running 6 classes.
Right, and he'll get that done because it'll be 3 on each track.
Sure.
And that's
and I mean, some people like that, and I mean that's also a big show too, where you're getting the best of the best iron in there, and you don't maybe necessarily need anything else. But to me nowadays, as you agreed, and I heard this so much from a lot of people that came down to Richland Center this fall, is that it's a family event, and it might be the husband or the wife that's out there watching pulling. The rest of the family is doing something else.
Yep.
I mean, like it or love it or hate it, the kids, they can only watch so much pulling. They got to do something else.
No, when I was a kid, pop cans were a nickel in Iowa. I went underneath the bleachers, and I used to pick up beer cans.
Sure.
I mean, because my dad would sit there and watch pulling all day in Blairstown, Iowa for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is boring. I mean, cab tractors, they pulled everything from noon until midnight. I just picked up beer cans.
And I mean, maybe it's a little more exciting now. Kids can get by it, but then all of a sudden you might get something that gets broken, or you're in between classes, and then it's just, the downtime.
Yep.
And a lot of people's attention spans are just not there.
No, I agree 100%. So from entertainment's point of view, what are you seeing? What are you suggesting? Because you're a promoter. You're Wisconsin polling promoters. You've seen a lot, and you're helping these people. People are asking you to promote my poll. Matt, help me get more fans in the stands. But let's get the fans in the stands. But how do we make them come back next year, right? Because you got to get new customers to the event. And how do you get your returning customers to come back year after year after year?
I think something that helps is you got to keep it fresh. Some people run the same show for 40 years straight.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that a lot of what happened, even 10, 15 years ago just doesn't apply now. We've talked lately about how smoke has taken over the world. Everybody wants to see the diesels, but I still love a good show where there might not be much smoke, because you get there, you fully understand it, that there's a lot more to it than just the diesel pulling. But I mean, again, it goes back to you gotta come up with some new ideas, keep it fresh. Whether that's adding to the pulling show, whether that's adding to the entertainment value, maybe changing up your food menu, or like what you do is you come there, you get something, you might get something, later on. You got to bring more to it, make it more of an all-around type of event, not just the pull, tunnel vision.
What are, outside of the Hillsboroughs, the Tomas, the Darlingtons, the Macvilles, some of the polls we touch on, what are some of the hidden gems, like in central and northern Wisconsin or eastern Wisconsin, that I don't know about?
Definitely Thorpe.
Thorpe is?
That was 130 hooks.
But
That was-
But did anybody go to it? What was the crowd like?
Yeah, me and Brandon were both there.
What they had.
No, I'm just asking. And that's what I mean. What does Thorpe offer that say?
No, it was-
because
it was
Stanley,
full.
Wisconsin. That's the 4th of July, right? They always promote the crap out of that.
Yeah, it's
No, Stanley isn't.
Stanley isn't?
No, Thorpe is.
Thorpe-
Thorpe did it during the 4th of July. So
Which
they had
one
fireworks.
which one did Leonard stick it in the sand pile?
That was Thorpe.
That was
yeah.
Thorpe. Okay.
So Thorpe always does it. They call it the 4th of July pull, but it's usually like on Sunday, so it's like the
So
third.
what are some of the other polls out there that we need to talk about?
The
more?
showdown's huge. I mean,
Ellsworth,
I bring that up
yep.
yeah, every year.
That got
in Ellsworth.
WTPA poll of the year, right? Region
Yeah,
3?
one again. Yeah.
I know I saw it on Doug's Facebook page
Yeah, I
last
know.
week,
I know.
so
He
we gotta
talked
get
about
him
that
on
the other
there.
day.
So
That's a huge one. Of course, one that we just recently talked about is over in Big Bend. I mean, that one's getting big too. I haven't been able to make it to that because it's the same weekend as my
definitely
hometown.
Utica Fest is just awesome.
Utica's huge.
It's 6 different organizations in 2 days.
And I tell you, I'll promote that one for free all day long because it's a free event. It's
Yeah.
nonstop action for multiple
Utica.
days. Yeah, you
Utica's a free
it's
event.
just-
It's
That was one of the busiest weekends for the website. Badger State website was Utica.
Sure.
I mean, they have every single possible class.
everything
Go.
you can possibly think of
Yep.
under the sun.
And the thing that I love about Utica is that their website is their community park website. There's nothing on it. It's just one page of basically here's the event schedule. So you could somebody could step into that and blow that up and make it huge. And I mean, it could get maybe even twice as big. But then again, you run into the problem of there's nowhere to park, unfortunately. I mean, you fill up that field awfully fast.
Talking
and
about
you
Utica?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty much at capacity.
But
Yeah,
is
they're
Utica?
at capacity,
But is Utica?
yeah.
That's tradition now.
Oh yeah.
How do you start something new?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and there's a good one. Prison City pulling Waupun.
Yeah.
They're
That's-
bringing that back because it was they had the
was
heydays
almost
at
dead.
NTPA, ATPA days, then it kind of went away, and now it's coming back again. I don't know what kind of crowd was up there this year, Brandon?
They had a decent crowd.
It was pretty good.
So a couple thousand people probably.
They like
At
to
least.
drink up there.
They like to drink up
One
there.
of the
Yep.
drunkest crowds
Yeah, and I mean, I see that there. Menominee, that's always a
Marshfield
big
and
one.
Menominee,
Yeah.
that's what I heard.
Ridgeland. Oh man, I've seen
That Ridgeland.
I need to go
bowl,
to
Oh my
Ridgeland.
gosh.
Ridgeland's
that
in my
is-
backyard.
You have that-
I've
that's the hillside, right?
One of the greatest venues ever. Yeah, the bleachers are just built into the hill, and it's huge. Ridgeland's a town of 200 people. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a touch bigger than
There was
Utica.
probably
That's-
at least
that's-
3,000 people there.
That's always Labor Day weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Labor Day
Yep.
weekend.
So-
The Sunday of Labor Day weekend.
And they run a couple other pools there that are done by the neighboring town. Prairie Farm brings their FFA in to
Okay.
do stuff for their lions, and they do events there too. So they actually do the first one of the north up there. But yeah, there's just a lot of small towns, a lot of pools that people just don't really know about. I always like Stanley. I'm biased against Stanley. That's again a mid-state one, and then this year they actually added NEW in, so they co-sanctioned it. And I mean, they get big money. I mean, the last few years they've had, they pushed $15,000 to $20,000 in purse there, and I mean, for a small town pool, Stanley's only 3,000-4,000. It's just huge. You just
Do you think it's
Probably-
a good idea to have an event around a holiday weekend, or do you think? I mean, that's what I've always wanted to. I always want to ask the people because people stay away from 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, but those are festivals and different things like that going on there. What are your thoughts about that?
I think if you have tradition, if like with Ridgeland, it works because they've always had it.
Okay.
Same with Viola, same
Yeah,
with things
Viola.
like
That's
Viola's
another one.
huge.
Yep.
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 I
the
think if
same
you-
like with the Prison City pull off, they've had it and they work into their festival. They have fireworks going off.
Because
during
didn't
the
Friday
fall.
night they have a
Yeah.
real big garden tractor show
Yeah.
in Waupun?
Yep.
And then
They
Saturday night,
have-
what's the Badger State
So
show?
like Wisconsin Garden Tractor Pullers
Yep.
or whatever.
Because that's big up there because of Hulse. And I think they ran some 2.5 diesel trucks
Yeah.
after the Badger
Yeah,
State
they
show.
have-
They actually more people were coming in to see the two
Oh, yeah.
diesel trucks. They did like a shootout with them.
And then
and I think if you build in something too, like for 4th of July, some of these pools have fireworks. If people can come and they can get their fireworks, you get that addiction plus some pulling. That's huge too. I mean,
Everything, if you haven't been to Waupun for their pole, everything is right there. So you got the carnival is right behind the pole, and so it's right next to each other, and then they shoot the fireworks off in the park next to it.
sure.
So if I'm starting to pull Matt Ingham in Wisconsin, what's your advice? Because you have a lot of people watching. What's your advice?
I guess the big thing is, find out what's going on right now. Find out what's big. The classes that people want to see. Because if you can start off big, that certainly helps. You want to lean on some people who know pulling. Bring some people in. If you're not exactly 100% sure, ask around. Like Jason and I, we always put our our details out there, and we're no by means the masters of pulling.
No,
but,
I'll tell you what I've learned.
But I mean, we know a few things, and we're certainly willing to help. And if we don't know the answers, we'll talk to somebody else that will find the answer. Because there are so many smart people out there who are just not willing. They don't want to put their names out there. But if you call them, they'll answer questions all day long. And so, to me, that's a big part. Is if you're unsure, if you have questions, get in on it. So
yeah. But that's what I think about Wisconsin pulling, and it's huge. I mean, it's in our roots.
Yeah.
And I mean, you mentioned the names, your Korths, and the names that come from, and the legends. You know what I mean, or the points champion, stuff like that. It's just Wisconsin's pulling huge, and I think I really want to pound that more and more. Guy Nelson does a good job with Southwest Pullers. I'm trying to think of all the different clubs we can talk about here tonight as we get going. South Central, yeah.
PI Pullers,
yeah.
Tri-State.
Tri-State
does a really good job. There's some really good clubs in Wisconsin.
I think an upcoming poll is going to be Dickeyville.
Yep. I talked to Jeff Ball the other night about that.
That's going to be. It looks like they have a great facility that they just opened this past year. And
I didn't get down. Did you go down to that one? Did you go down to Dickeyville? Because we came before Redneck Rally.
I went to retreat.
And a gentleman was just telling us that they're building a track in Camp Douglas, which is a good Wisconsin town. They had a blacktop puller last year for the antiques. It sounds like this year they're building a track. So
if you can get a town to support an event, that's what it comes down to. There are smaller towns, I swear, have more pride and more passion than these big towns do. Yeah. They all get into it. You know what I mean?
I live in New Glarus. I swear, if there was any piece of land in that town anywhere I could put a track, I would do that because I know that brewery would be behind it in a second. I mean, you just get those good Wisconsin, communities where people just want to support that stuff. So
we got Tressa,
Wisconsin. Yep, they've done a good job with that.
Oh yeah, Teresa.
So, it's Tressa.
I think it's Tressa.
I say Teresa because that's my mom's name.
It's Tressa because I got in trouble.
I know that's my mom's name too.
Yeah.
Brian Withrow wants you to remind everybody that the nut job is for sale.
The nut job is still for sale.
We've seen that.
You didn't get her sold. Okay, I think both of his trucks are super stock trucks now, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
The Nut Job 1 and the Nut Job 2. And I think one of them is going to be a Cloverdale because you and I read through the list last night.
He said that on here.
So we got to give a shout out to Withrow, good friends of the Beer Bunny
Domans
pulling
are
team.
in the house.
So
shout out to the Galatzes. They stopped at Aslan Inn and they're snowmobiling and they're listening. So.
Well, cool.
So
see, we have people that are watching the show.
Their tractors were up on my page the other day and
I
lots
saw
of
that.
feedback.
And
Everybody
I saw
loves
Nick
those
Gallant's
tractors.
commented on them and stuff like that too. So
and I also want to say I know they're still working on it, but I'm hoping one of my next videos coming up is the Spiegelberg. So. They're bar none the name when it comes to limited. So
I think on the tractor side of it, I think one of the most exciting things happened is when the Badger State tractor pullers allowed the alcohol tractors.
Oh yeah,
I
saw that.
What that's going to do now for the state of Wisconsin on the tractor side of it. But I'm more interested in trucks. I'm excited to see we're definitely going to bring the 2.5 diesel trucks back to Ingham.
Sure. Oh yeah.
That was one of the we didn't have them in October, but it's good to switch up the show a little bit too.
Yeah.
People want to be there.
Yeah.
Diesel trucks in Wisconsin, I really see the 3.0 class taking another step this year, the limited pro stock diesel trucks with some of the 2.6 guys last year. If you want to pull at a national level or a state level, you're going to need to put the 3.0 Charger on, and come pull with like Badger State or your WTPA and trucks like that.
I think the 3.6 class is actually going to be the class for Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, I know. I think Jamie Larsh is heading there now and stuff like that.
That's where they'll eventually.
But from a gas truck standpoint, I feel that Badger State we need some 4x4 trucks.
Oh, I agree.
But I don't know if it's where we live because Tri-State's got a good 6 to 8. Brandon, 6 to 8.
10.
They got Eggy, they got Brogley's, they got
you look
guys
at,
from Iowa.
But they're from Iowa.
You look at PI
Sullivan's,
pullers, and you got your 3 stairwell trucks right there.
But there's not any mod trucks though. They're not true mod truks.
Those are super stocks.
Trucks with cut tires on it.
Tri-States are as close as you can get without calling it a mod truck.
Yeah.
No, they're carbureted motors though.
But I mean, there's
a mod motors.
There's NTPA guys down here too. The stairwell, they got their mod truck, the Freedom truck.
Well,
then
a super stock truck's 530, right?
And you got Davis, yeah.
530, I believe.
And I think for
530.
NTPA it's 650,
650.
and then what is it? It's 800. It's unlimited for PPL.
Yep, unlimited cubes.
So I mean that's fine. I mean I agree with it because I've seen the super stock trucks get on tracks with cut tires and compete with the mod
a
trucks.
lot of them at Toma will just put on the cut tires and run.
And
I as a promoter, I want to have 4-wheel drive trucks. I want to have diesel smoking tractors. And as a promoter, as a Badger State promoter now I get to bring in alcohol tractors with a light limited class.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm excited about that.
And again, like we kind of talked about, and this is something, I wanted to mention, too, that we got an opportunity back home. A group of us got a chance to build our own pole this year. We did it in the fall,
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
It was all over the place. I promoted it like crazy. I get picked on all the time because there wasn't a day that went by where I wasn't posting it on. And, I'm kind of like you,
cares?
Yes.
They don't like you, they'll unfriend you.
But the truck showed up, and and I just want to say,
block you. I've had that happen.
They did such a great job for showing up, and a lot of those same guys came down here to Richland Center. So again, one thing that I emphasized on is what classes are hot. Well, we went to super stock. That's where we put most of our money.
Okay.
A lot of those super stock guys, I tell them bring their mod tires with, and then what do you know? You got 2 classes right there.
Nice.
And then we hit light limited, super stock, which not a ton of guys were there, but some of our other tractor classes, we put a lot of money on the farm class. We actually found out that just down the road, about 30 miles, there was another farm class of the same weight, and both pulls were actually memorial pulls. The same exact weight, 13,000 farm, same day.
What are the
same
chances
time.
of that?
So next year I'm going to work with them and try to, stagger it so we can get them. But it worked out really well. And again, it just kind of came down to, some of the small things that we did. So
Yes, Chuck, we can't forget the
Chuck's our
Tri-County
groupie.
mini rods.
Yep.
So
Are there any other mini rod? There's WGTPA. That's the Wisconsin Garden Tractor Pulling Association.
but like the WTPA state mini.
yeah,
state mini
state
rods.
mini rods.
That's
County
about
has their
it.
Yeah.
Kruger classes.
And then
I know
you're-
we're trying to work with them a little bit with Badger State to bring more mini rods to the Badger State show.
They pull the mini trucks and
Oh, that's the Badger Dirt Slinger.
Badger State Dirt
Flingers.
Flingers.
Dirt
Yeah,
Flingers,
yeah,
yeah.
Dirt Flingers.
Yeah.
And then they actually got up there is Loyal Mini
30.
Rodders too.
Oh, okay.
They got mini rods too.
So there's a lot of stuff out there for Wisconsin for promoters. And
That's
stuff
why,
like
like
that.
these small towns, there's so many options out there.
Yeah.
Sure.
You
And
don't
I mean-
have to go to these big
Yeah.
organizations.
And that's something just to get started on. A lot of people talk about, man, how can I build a truck or a tractor and get involved? And it's like, start with a lawnmower, start with a mini rod. So
That's what it takes.
yeah.
That's what it takes to get it going. So where are we at on time, Ryan? I need to take off for the
7:30.
Okay, cool. I'll leave for
So-
7:40. We always call Clint about 7:45 or
Yeah,
so.
somewhere in there.
If you're watching the show on Instagram or on Facebook right now, we're live. Again, we got Matt Ingham, Wisconsin Pulling Promoters right now. Let us know what questions you have as Wisconsin Pulling Promoters. If you want to get something going in your state, different things like that. Let us know where you're at, where you're watching the show from tonight. We'd like to see where everybody's watching from, and just to get going on. But let's get a little interaction going here with Matt, and he can answer some of your questions. But I really like what he has done again for the state of Wisconsin. Matt, we had a lot of rain last summer,
Yeah.
and your
Yeah.
page was the first page I went to see if everything was still on it, different
Sure.
things like that. So
And that's something I'm hoping I get more of this year is, get a hold of me. Let me get it on the page because that's something a lot of these guys, men and women, they travel so far. And if we can save them a trip, if we can do something, to make their, season a little bit better, that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. And, something I really want to push this year on the web page. You saw it last year as we did the poll of the week. I'm hoping this year I can take it to the next step. You go in there and vote, and maybe I can get something like a plaque or something I can, produce for each event. So this is an opportunity for us to find out because I don't know about all the polls. So
Right.
get on there and vote. And, I mean, there was some polls, that they were on there promoting it on their Facebook page and on their website. Hey, get on the Wisconsin Pulling Promoters and vote for our event. Give us a little publicity and stuff. So yeah, there's Gus. He runs I'll get to it, Gus. I got a lot of things in my head, but Gus does a lot of promoting up there as well. He does the weight transfer, and that's basically every week he does a rundown of all the events in the area, whether it's garden tractors, mini rods, truck pulls, who does it, and kind of gives you a little preview of the area. So
Yeah, West Rock Valley, Iowa with the Outlaws.
are there a lot of small block V8 hot rod tractor classes in Wisconsin? Just try.
No,
state.
just Tri-State. They're the ones that are
And they have
left.
4 or 5.
Maybe like 3 to 5.
yeah, Midwest
Does
does.
Midwest
yeah,
have a
Midwest,
single engine mod
yeah,
class?
they do.
Yeah.
That's right, they do. And they compete with the turbines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anna's brother has 2 turbine tractors.
Okay, but how many V8, do they have in that? And that, I mean, have any of you seen Brandon?
That would be about it for
I think every one I went to, there was one with a V8 on, a few turbines. There's a one with the Busch Light sticker on the front that comes in.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
I'm trying to think of all of them.
Yeah, Tri-State's going to be the one.
Tri-State, their tractors pull with just Tri-State.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because that's their rules are set up like that.
Yeah, they're.
And I
There's the
just
2 brown ones.
And
the
I just got
14.
informed one of our local events up there is actually switching to Tri-State. So Tri-State's moving
Who's
a little
that?
further north. From what I understand, it's a little town called Oliva. I go there every
Yeah,
year.
Leva. I haven't out. Leva was
Yeah.
Tri-State a couple years ago. They have a nice hillside
Yeah,
too.
they're
Leva
that's-
Strong.
I absolutely love that. Another great event. There's my buddy Mark. He's awesome, great. Congratulations, Mark. Mark Welke Jr. this year won the. I believe he won both classes, the super stock and the mod
He's
class
with
for
Western Wisconsin truck pullers?
Yeah,
Cool.
His dad pulled forever, and this year Mark or I should say the last few years, Mark took over and drives the Bounty Hunter. It was recently on my page, the big orange truck. So
I have some pictures of that.
and I will throw out there too that Mark and his dad and their group, Red Cedar Pullers, you can see their ad on my page right now. They are trying to build a all diesel pulling event.
Okay. Yeah, I saw your post on the Facebook page.
So they're hoping to do it maybe this spring. I don't know if they had an exact time yet, but they're looking at trucks and tractors, but it would be all diesel.
So question is, someone, if they're trying to promote to small towns, where should they get their payout if they can't afford the type of purse to bring in?
You know, and something that I've found, especially with my hometown, is don't be afraid to go outside your town. I mean, a lot of events max out their towns, you know. It's one event after the other, maxing out your same businesses in town. Reach out a little bit.
Get some sponsors.
As Jason will be the first one to tell you, the only thing you might hear is no, and that's okay. You move on.
I've been told no. I've been told no way more than I've been told yes.
I'm in the same boat as you. So
keep going.
Reach outside of your area and ask big companies. I did it this year where I just handed a couple sheets to some friends. They handed it to their bosses. $100, $200, great. Yep. You move on. So I mean, it works out well.
And to Russell's point, if you're just starting out, charge. The pullers will pay $25 hook fee. Do 100% payback if that's what you got to do to get started.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, with some of the classes and get going, and then because you don't want to stick your neck out there too much. If you only get a couple $1,000s in sponsorship, you got to get some insurance, you got to get an eliminator, stuff like that. But you really want to have a pull. That's how you get started. And I always tell people, if you have local pullers, pick classes for them. I think that's important because everyone wants to see their local pullers. You never go wrong with a stock diesel truck class. Ever.
Oh no, not at all.
From that level, you know what I mean. If you're just trying to do something like that, so
and you get your stock guys out there, your local guys, they get involved. There's Bud. That's I believe that's Anna's dad. Brother. Oh, we're gonna hear about it over that one.
It'll be okay. She'll make it.
I don't know if that's good if a Doman wants to move out to Wisconsin.
We're not ready for the Domans. Yeah. So we keep them 8 hours away. So when we miss them, we go see them.
Doug, you missed one heck of a show there, buddy.
Yeah.
So.
We've been talking about
Ellsworth. We've been talking about you.
First 30 minutes are about Ellsworth. Showdown in Kerntown.
Yeah.
Way to go, Borth. What the heck's going on?
And I have to say, Ellsworth cheese curds are the second best in the state behind Nasonville, which is right by Marshfield.
Yep, I was up there today at work.
Yes.
So anybody need a home loan? Let me know.
There you go.
Plug for that. So.
I knew that plug was coming, so it was only a matter of time.
Hey, I can do VA loans.
The lights just went out. The lights just went out.
They did?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
He's not selling enough houses. Come on, guys.
Come on. Oh, yeah, I got to pay my light bill. Got to keep the remedy on the track. I need to make some money. So.
And this, oh boy.
Anna says my dad still has a flip phone. So.
In this event, we can all agree. Let me give a quick shout out to the sled operators too. We have some great sleds in Wisconsin. I work just about exclusively with the Wild Rose and the Track Patrol, but down here you got the Terminator, you got the Lutkeys. Our prayers are with the Lutke family.
He's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And their sleds are going to be back full time. Pat Hack's coming back.
I saw that on their webpage. Don't worry, we're still going to have our sleds out there. That's great. And
let's suck up to Borth a little bit for Showdown in Kerntown. Sure. He was your first one to hire you, right?
Yes.
You charge $100 this year to promote or pull, right?
This year it's $100, and I won't go any further than that. Yes.
So I can't touch your leg or rub your leg for $100? Oh, something else.
Yes, absolutely.
So for $100, Matt, what do I get from Wisconsin Pulling Promoters?
So I mean, there's a wide range of things. I'm willing to work with you, and I don't necessarily want to say it's limited to just this, because I am more than willing to go above and beyond, because some events, they don't need necessarily the extra publicity. Some do. But if you work with me, you're going to get on my Facebook page. You're going to get on my website. You're going to get, a video. We can do phone interviews. The possibilities are endless. And like you said, you get one little video out there. It's huge. You get, this year I think it's going to be a lot better because my page is built up a lot more.
Yes, you have a lot more followers.
Yes, and I work closely with you guys, and you guys help out a lot too. So, I mean, right there, again, you're going to find out that a lot of what I'm doing, is getting a lot bigger this year, so it's going to help out. I think our polls.
Does
that much
Doug?
more.
Do you have a Facebook page or a website? Let's let Borth make sure he's still watching. Is it Showdown in Kerntown?
Well, it's not. I think it's actually off of their FFA.
Is it the
alumni?
Ellsworth?
Okay.
I want to say. I believe
it's always the same weekend as the SOC, the benefit pool. And
well,
Doug
this is their Facebook
page.
Yeah, it's on there.
But my dad was up there last year with the perfect 10, so that was good. So.
Yeah, and it's huge, and I mean they're looking at, I think, adding a little something. I think it's the only event in Wisconsin, and I have not been there recently to see it. But
they got Region 3 Pull of the Year.
They have an indoor scale.
Didn't know that.
Never been there. You're going
to
see that.
Scale.
Yes, they built a facility over their scale.
That's a heck
I guess
of a
those guys got to stay warm.
So do you want to show their page? We'll
they added
Doug Borth a little bit.
They added the seats this year. If you can kind of see on the one side, they've always typically had the grandstand there. No, I guess on this page would be the grandstand.
Yes.
And it's just packed.
Oh, it's a great facility. It's at the Pierce County Fairgrounds. I've been there a few times back in the day. It used to be a Western Wisconsin hook, and
I believe they've done a lot of renovations over the years from where it's at now.
I believe.
It looks like a very nice facility.
Yeah, it's a great town. Ellsworth is a great town. If you don't know where that's at, it's just off the interstate up by like Hudson and River Falls. So
very good.
Great pulling area.
Let's so that's your Region 3 poll of the year. Bring up the Greene County Fall Nationals. That was a Badger State poll of the year.
Yeah,
I've been enrolled the last couple years, and that's been a heck of a
You can't
poll.
say enough about that. You know, living in the New Glarus area, I see every week about how they're still giving away stuff. You know, they're helping families out. It's unbelievable.
I've never, when it comes to charitable organizations like that, they do a heck of a good job, and they do a good job of promoting it too, letting people know what they're doing and stuff. And they have raffles, and they have tickets, and the 50-50 raffle. I mean, they work it. If you want to talk to a promoter, Hawthorne, he's got his stuff together.
Yeah.
He has his stuff together, and he's not only that's his little green giant right there.
When you have 11 or 12 classes hooking on one single track,
Yeah.
you got to have everything in order.
And it's a good. And they make
Here's
the track.
like an over.
Click on that video so the fans can see that.
I still mean to get after him for the lack of tractor or trucks, but then everybody goes to Viola that weekend. So
right. Well,
it
honestly, I mean, if you I posted on the Badger State Facebook page the other day. What are your favorite polls? And it was Darlington. It was
Monroe is in there.
Monroe, but mostly in Darlington. I don't think I think they're bringing the one diesel truck class now, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Badger State tractor pulling fans are used to black smoke and
Sure.
tractors.
No, that's understandable.
We didn't bring more fans, but this is Monroe. What a beautiful.
Yeah, this
facility.
was my first year getting to Monroe. I went there for the fair, got to see the mod trucks. And,
were you there where you got blown away? That night was.
I must have been there the second night. I think that was Thursday night. I went there Friday night, and
Don't they have like 3 polls now in Monroe?
Yeah. So this year
the fair poll. You went to that one that.
they had the 2 fair
Brad
polls.
Anderson did.
This year.
Cheese City Challenge.
Cheese City Challenge, which
So they had technically 4 polls because they had 2 nights of Badger State polling.
Okay.
yeah.
Watch, somebody's texting. I'm gonna see what's going on over there. We're still watching the
Yep.
video. Right?
So this is.
And the Cheese City Challenge, let me give
That
another
was-
shout out. That was Badger Truck Pullers. They're another great organization in Wisconsin.
South Central
That was
Wisconsin
Badger Truck
Pullers.
South Central.
Tri-County Mini Rods.
I think Iowa or Illinois
that was-
came up.
Guy
Yep.
Nelson had 3 classes
He
there.
did, yeah.
ISB had their hot
Another
farm.
another small town great pull down here is Brooklyn. I actually work at EMS in Brooklyn. I'm
that was a good
close to a lot of those guys.
Anna,
Free pulling.
Shade because Anna got sunburned.
I saw that, and luckily for her, she was number 1 on the poll the other day for things that we need to add for the ladies. So among that and porter potties for women. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I think with Ellsworth, the weekend after is Hutchinson.
yeah, the power poll.
So that always falls on Macville.
Yeah,
Midwest
a
Summer
big
Nationals
grand
with
national.
Freeport.
Yeah.
So
That's a big grand national.
that's a big hook
so
up there, and that's
Freeport has always been one of those traditional,
sure.
really big polls. It used to be an NTPA Grand National poll, and then ATPA days they switched over with the Badger State Tractor.
Fagundes is in the house, all the way from California. He won the mini.
Yeah, we had someone from Alaska check in.
Cool.
So
That's works.
That'd be my sister.
it was a guy. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, maybe my brother-in-law. Yeah, they that was an interesting story seeing the group from California come all the way up to Ellsworth.
And that's Robbie Fagundes right there. He owns 2 mini rods.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
When I was out announcing in Wyoming, I saw them out there. So I got to head to the choir concert, guys. But Matt, thanks for coming in tonight.
Hey,
I appreciate it. You guys
absolutely.
go as long as you want. Thank you to our fans.
Yeah.
We'll be back Monday night.
So if you didn't hear, Jason actually has to do some family events
Yeah,
tonight.
hold on.
So
You got to push the t-shirts a little bit too.
yes.
Brandon. Or, I'm sorry, Ryan.
Yeah, Brandon, get over here and model the T-shirts for us, Brandon.
I have enough.
So these are the kid shirts. You want to hold those up? Or am I doing it right?
There
There's
you
the
go.
kid shirts. They're $20 a piece with shipping. So I'm getting cost me $7 to ship them because I do priority mail. But they say Root Beer Money Pulling Team on them. And I have a youth small, an extra small, a small, and a medium. I got those. And I have adult shirts, but I'm out of what now? I'm out of XL. I'm out of larges.
So, question is, are you
Yeah.
going to have them at your events this year? Because we saw that a lot last year.
Yes.
Yes.
And actually, we hooked up with Drink Wisconsin, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that.
Then we're also going to work with Dion Bliss with Red Hot Supply. And he's actually putting together a whole puller mall. Dion Bliss is with Red Hot Supply. So if you get in touch. We have tank tops for the ladies. They say under contract to love pulling and drink beer with the boys. So we have a pink and a neon there. We got all the different sizes too. So send a message to the Facebook page. And then just send me a check when you get the shirt.
Brad wants a pink one.
Yeah, he would. Hey, how'd the poll go for his sled?
That would look good on Brad.
You know, you did a poll for what color his sled should be. Did a lot of people?
Oh yeah,
the poll's still going. I'm adding some different ideas on there because I'm getting it. One was camouflage. You know, maybe something like the Just Ruttin truck there, Brad. That might be a good idea. So you're truly Wisconsin. Hey, thanks for having me, Jason.
I'm sorry, I gotta go to the choir.
No, that's all right. We'll bring up the ratings here.
Yeah.
So
Hey, guys.
We'll get Clint Tucker here on the phone here and see what he's up to tonight and talk about 2.5 weeks away from Gordyville already.
it won't be long, man. I tell you,
It comes up fast every year.
You know, the itch is up here in Wisconsin. You wouldn't believe how many people in Wisconsin are building to go down there to Illinois. It's huge.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's a 4.5-hour drive for pollers up here in
Yeah.
Wisconsin, so
Yeah.
it's as close as you're going to get for an indoor poll, so.
I know a guy who's putting his back together up north, and he's bringing it back down there, and that's, 6-7 hours, I'm sure, for him.
And our new partner, Carl Downs, put out his first show today. If you go to the Facebook page, Loud and Proud with Carl, he did an hour long with Light Super Puller down there that he's the crew chief for. It's more of them walking around the shop, showing you pieces of the motor, telling you how it works, and
Hey, Clint.
in their case, how it doesn't work.
Hey, Clint. Hey, this is Ryan. So are you ready to talk for a few minutes here? Okay, we'll switch mics. Oh, you'll lose your mic here.
Okay.
So we'll get you set up here, Clint. Then you'll want to put on the headset. Okay, Clint, can you hear us?
Yes.
And I'm here with Matt Ingham with Wisconsin Polling Promoters. He's joining us, and he just missed Jason. He actually had to head out to his daughters and his son and daughter's choir concert tonight. So they had their Christmas program, so he had to head out. But we're here with you, and what was it, 2.5 weeks away from Gordyville already?
Yeah, it's coming up quicker than what we're really ready for, but I guess here we go.
Yeah, every year I think it comes up faster and faster. So
Yeah. We are still getting entries in. We even got 2 or 3 in today. We are pretty much at capacity.
yeah, we're just scrolling through your lineup now, and just looking at the class list. You're at between 15 and 20. It almost looks like for most of your classes, and then pushing that for your limited pro stock. You have 2 flights of them, and some of your super farm classes. So just it's gonna be a crazy to jam them all in the back of Gordyville again, I suppose.
Yeah, we're struggling right now trying to figure out where to get everything parked, but it seems like it always works out.
Yes.
We'll have a few cancellations at the very
Sure.
at the last minute. And unfortunate for some guys, but it does free the building up, and we're going to have to do some things we've never done before to get to deal with the diesel pickups, getting them parked and moved around in there. It's took an awful lot of thinking how to get those things around, and we're excited to have them this year. And if any of them listening, I want to make sure to tell all of them. Hopefully, they've been to indoor pools before. I want to make sure all them diesel pickup trucks got a thing on the front of their weight box so we can pick them up and move them around, because that's the only way we can move them around inside. They won't be able to drive. So I just want to make sure they all got that front hitch on the front of their weight box, because they will be picked up and moved around just like the tractors.
Sure, and especially on Saturday afternoon, you got all your finals classes that you're setting up for, and it'll be interesting to see those diesel trucks in the mix and how you're going to get them around. Because if you look at go on some pictures from the past, there's basically you might have an inch in between the tires when you have them all parked in there for your finals on Saturday night.
Yeah, we stack them in there a lot of different interesting ways to get them to fit, but unfortunately that's a good problem.
No, it is. Yeah, that's a And then how's your? I wanted to ask, how's your smoke tube project coming along?
Got a little update last week. They were trying to put something together this weekend and make a little test on it. I didn't get to go down because of the ice and the snow, but I think they're working diligently on it. We're all getting pretty nervous and holding our breath to hope this thing comes together. I mean, no matter how much planning we do, it always seems like we're doing some stuff at the last second. But
Sure.
that's
Well, this will be a first of a kind over here in the United States. They kind of had these over in Europe for their indoor poles, but this will be, I believe, the first of its kind over here.
Yeah, it's quite it. There's been 1,000 different ideas thrown at me, and a lot of negativity telling me it won't work. So we're going to try like heck to see if it does work, and if it does, I'm sure there'll be some improvements made upon it. But it's getting to the point now. We're having a really difficult time getting enough high school students through the FFA to drag that tube back all the time, to that Gloryville, because we're about 500 hooks this year. So 500 times those kids got to get up and drag that thing out of the way so the Patriot guys can get backed up.
Yeah, we're looking at your website right now where people can buy their tickets online if they want to. Instead of having the wait in the cold in the line, you can go right in once they allow people to go in. All 5 sessions for $83 essentially. Mm-hmm. And like you said, 500 hooks for the weekend. I mean, you really can't get much more for your dollar right there.
Right. And we're probably going to keep ticket sales up online till the 31st of December. And then we'll probably shut it down because we just can't trust the mail to get tickets to them there, because I don't think the mailing runs the second.
Yeah.
And we're leaving out of here the second. We won't be back in the office till after Gloryville's over. So
sure. And then of course,
tickets are always available at the door. Pit passes are available in the back. We've never sold out. I mean, the place holds about 3,000 people. I think the biggest ticket count we've ever had at a session is 1,400 or 1,500, but that's not counting the pit passes.
Sure.
So, and most of the guys that got a pit pass don't sit down anyway; they're always just roaming around. So,
yeah. And then, of course, you got your groups at the end by the beer gardens there, kind of stacking up, and they like their refreshments and getting a chance to see it down by the sand pile.
Right.
And of course, the raffle tickets right now going on sale. For Drew Rice and Daryl Stoll, the Memorial Toy raffles, of course, right now, and those you can also online. And are they going to be sold the day of the events too?
Yeah, we'll probably shut those down as well because we don't want the mail not to have those guys to have those tickets in those fellows' hands that can't make the show, and we will. If we draw a ticket of somebody online, we'll make sure you get a hold of them and see what prize they want. I think Justin's getting more and more stuff donated by the vendors, and I had probably 4 vendors contact me in the last 2 or 3 days over the weekend. Today, still wanting to come and show their products. So we're gonna have a very, very full vendor area.
And as we close in on the. We had some suggestions. Schultz can be the drag person, drag the tube back,
get him back into shape.
I think he has enough energy by himself.
Yeah, I think Jason probably could get a crew together real quick, pull the tube back for a while, especially if you paid him in whiskey.
Yeah, that'd be a good.
As long as he's able to talk while he does it.
Well, we're really hoping this cart thing will alleviate a lot of the helping to move the tube around because, like I said, it's getting hard to get the kids to do that anymore, and hopefully this will be the last year we have that problem. Even if the cart doesn't work, hopefully this year we can get through it, and next year it will work next year.
if you're just tuning in, Jason actually had to leave for his kids' choir concert tonight. It's their Christmas program, so some questions on that. And, of course, not only with, I think it'll help move the event, go even a little bit faster and smoother. It'll also help alleviate some of the problems with the wear and tear on that tube going up and down the track, 500-plus times.
Well, another thing I want to add when I'm talking to you guys is we get a lot of people call and ask us, when can I get my tractor? And when can I get my tractor? And they all we wish our building was 3 times as big as it is. We could get everybody inside like we do out at Keystone, but unfortunately, we can only get about 200 tractors in there. This year, we made a very hard decision to move the 4.1s and 9,500 Limited Pros out Thursday to Friday, and I told a lot of them that I do up during the summer, don't be coming and bugging me on Thursday that you want your tractor inside because you didn't want to pull that night. So I better not see very many 4.1 guys bugging me in the back. But after we get done with our show on Thursday night, we will work about another hour or so. I mean, every session, every night, Friday and Thursday night, we'll work about an hour after show's over trying to get tractors in. Where we get jammed up is after the show on Friday night because our people are exhausted. So we're going to ask a lot of people for their patience. Just be prepared to, if it's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, your tractor's still in the holler and it's warm, just leave it in there. We'll be back at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning and we'll get it out. We'll get it inside, plug it in, and you'll have plenty of time. Especially if you're the second, third, fourth, fifth class in the afternoon session. Don't panic. We'll get you inside. That building seems to breathe a lot better on Saturday morning because if we can get the glut of the tractors out and on the haulers, because we do have a guy this year that will be sitting there, and if you don't make the finals and you no longer you don't have any other classes you're running in, an hour after the show your class is over, we're going to have to start asking you to take it outside and put it on the hauler so we can make room for some other tractors that are dying to get in. So we ask you guys' cooperation in that. We sent out the packets that has your hauler pass and the vehicle passes with an itinerary. We sent that out Saturday and today. So all the pullers that are registered have got a copy of that, and we cannot stress enough. Please read that so you know what's going on, because you can't call me whenever you're there and want to know what's going on, because, for one, everybody knows the cell phone reception in that building is terrible at best.
Yeah,
and you can't find me because we're running around like chickens with our heads cut off the whole time. So if you read that itinerary, you'll have a good idea. We have more tech people this year. Our teching will go faster. We have 45 people on staff that will take care of your paperwork, take care of your teching, get you down the track, get you out, get you from your haulers, get you back to your haulers. I mean, this is about, we try to have people at every aspect that will make the experience there good. And if we have good weather, we pray, it'll go smooth as usual, but we just can't stress enough to all the pullers. When you get your itinerary, you'll be getting in the mail this week. Look it all over and bring it with you. Our box seat people and our sponsors that have the boxes up and down the track, we got those box seat tickets in the mail this week as well. They should be receiving them this week, so they'll have them. We thank every one of them for supporting our box seat effort. We have more box seats than we ever do. We have a waiting list of over 30 people wanting those box seats. So it's a great program. It's a great program.
So, how's the Pro Stock team competition coming along?
I'm still struggling with that. We kind of sit down this weekend, me and a couple of the board guys, and talk to them on the phone. We have them somewhat seated in what we think is a fair and correct manner. Still keeping brothers and guys with 2 tractors on the same team. If we don't get much input from those guys, and by the end of this week, I'd say during the Christmas holidays, we'll probably get on a conference call and just seat them and make the teams up ourselves. But if any of the guys out there are listening tonight or, want to call and visit with me and they have a team, they have to send their paperwork in for their team, let me know as soon as possible, because we're probably just going to do it for them. it was suggested by a few of them to do it for him earlier in the year. It's going to make it, maybe blend it, take a couple Badger State, put with a couple NTPA, and stick it with a couple Mid-South tractors. I think it'd be kind of a unique deal, but we will do our best to keep the competition fair. This has never been attempted on the pro stock level, to my knowledge, and it absolutely has never been attempted indoors.
Yeah.
So this is a tricky thing. We're even considering things like if you got 5 tractors on your team and say one of them blows up and not available for competition on Saturday, maybe you can fill out your low card for the weekend, and we'll just average the 4. Things like that.
Sure.
That will, I think, tighten up the competition. But it'll be interesting when we get it put together, and hopefully, the guys will enjoy it. I've said it 100 times. We're trying to get the pro side guys to use Gordyville as an event that they want to compete at instead of a test pass for the next poll they're going to.
Sure.
And that's why we've added the additional purse and doing the team effort to kind of do a little incentive and show them our appreciation, because we know, we deal with these guys every weekend throughout the summer. We know if these guys got invested. We don't want to run them to death, but we'd like to have them pull a couple of times for us in January.
Chad Doman says do a draw, and he also says you do a great work.
What's that?
Chad Doman says you always do great work, and you should do a draw.
No. But I think it'll all work, and everybody will enjoy it. I just, like I said, it's new, something new, and the guys go through it the first year here. Maybe they'll be more apt to jump on board with us next year. And we're probably going to have to limit it next year, probably just 20 tractors. I think we're up to 25 right now. That's a lot of pro stocks to run on one session together. Pro stocks take a little longer to get down the track, and the track takes a little longer to put back together after they run. With that kind of wheel speed, there's no track in the country that can put up with that many of them and be super fair, but we're going to do our best. I've had scoldings before from guys that drew later on in the night and didn't think they'd have a chance to make the finals, and I've had some really good friends not like their draws in the 20s, but they made the finals anyways. So we kind of had our day. We kind of had our days. We have our days sometimes too.
Yeah, that track, despite all the polls that especially between Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, it actually stays quite consistent for as many polls and the different types of vehicles that it takes a beating.
Well, we're very fortunate. We have the correct kind of dirt that responds back. If we have the time and we have the correct people doing it. Mark, Charlie D. Kemper, and Chris Carhoff, everybody calls him Flea. They're the best track people. They're the best track crew in the nation. They're the fastest. We hope we give them the correct tools to do the job correctly. We're going to be really rushed this year on our test passes on Wednesday to get the track accurate. We're probably going to do a lot of maintenance on it on Thursday to prepare for Thursday night session. But like I said, hire the best people you can find, and they'll make you look good. And that's what we've done.
Any questions for Clint as a promoter?
No, Clint. It's nice to finally get a chance to chat with you. I got some stuff for you up on my page, and I know it's there's always such itchy fingers up here to get back into pulling. So I hear it all the time. People are excited to come down there, and this will be my first chance this year to get down there since I kind of got more into this. So I'm excited.
Yeah, when you first walk in there, it looks like disorganized chaos, and sometimes it is, but there is a method to all of it. We have a crew in the back headed up by Joe Hurd. We call him the pit boss. He's one of our board members. And then Justin and Austin, the new kid, and Cole Johnson, they're there though. They're there to pick you up, get you on the warm-up tube. Really good about getting things moving around, because it's a very nerve-wracking job with all the equipment back there. If it wasn't for those guys, this couldn't happen. they have a pattern to go, and we got a couple people that work for me in the Midwest, in the PPO Western Series. Everybody knows Scooter from the PPL and his buddy Tim. They're the ones that find the tractors, and then they have little lights that blink, and then that's how the guys know which tractor to get next. And it's just, those guys probably walk 10 miles a day, and can't thank those guys enough.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about a little bit earlier, with volunteers. It's just amazing how great of a crew you've had over the years, just to be able to move the tractors in and out once they, to stage them, once they're done pulling, get them out of the arena as fast as possible, yet keep it safe for everyone, and of course everyone in the back, that from, all week, to the last pull on Saturday night, it's just quite amazing job that your crew has done. How many is this number? How many years now for Gordyville again?
This is our lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13.
We started in February 2005, and the building jockeys us around about every 3 years to put us at the beginning of the month, which usually is really great. But this year, unfortunately, they got some kind of a horse show on the 1st of January, which is really, hopefully doesn't jam us up too much. But right now, a lot of us are really scratching our heads about how in the world we're going to pull this off, but it's just going to be a lot of late nights.
Yeah. It's always the horse people.
Yeah. Well, it's a horse facility in Rome. Yes, you do as the Romans, and
you take what you can get with the facility that they provide you with.
Right. We do our best, and it seems like they're there to help us when we need help. So they got a great crew in the back, Gordyville USA staff in the back. Those guys help us out tremendously amount. And if it wasn't for those guys, we couldn't do it either. So, and that's 4, 5, 6 guys all the time. It's pretty much at our beck and call, and they help us out a lot getting set up, because it takes all of us to get it put together in 3 days.
Yeah, and you really got to thank them to actually go out on a limb when you started this 13 years ago to actually put a pole in an indoor horse arena.
Yeah, well, it was pretty interesting the first 2 or 3 years. So we got kind of a staff together, and then once we got a staff that could work, accurately together, it was a chore. But now we're pretty much rolling, and hopefully this year will be the best we've ever done.
Anything else you wanted to talk about this week for Gordyville? 2.5 weeks away already from the opening night of Gordyville. So anything else you wanted to mention, Clint, here before we sign off?
I mean, we've touched about everything, and I can't thank you guys up there for letting us have a chance every week to visit about it, because the more information we get out, I think it's going to make everything during the weekend a lot smoother. Just want to stress to everybody that wants to get a part of the raffle, get a hold of Justin, and get a hold of me, and we'll get whatever you want to put in the raffle in there and make it public. We're probably going to announce our class sponsors here this week. Columbus Diesel picked up a couple classes. Hart's Diesel picked up a couple classes. Suits Farm Garage picked up a couple. Scott Spiegelberg's back with the Light Limited sponsor. Bryce Van Gidron sponsoring the Pro Stocks. Don Slama sponsors the Pro Stocks and the Super Farms. And Lucas Oil, Pro Pulling League, they're sponsoring 2 or 3, 4 classes. They basically say, Tucker, put our name on whatever you want, and we're behind it 100%. And if it wasn't for the Lucas people, they help us out tremendously with radios and RPM boxes. Badger State donates their laser and JJ for the weekend, and it's just But when you get good quality groups during the summer, jump in there and help us out in the wintertime, it makes everything go a lot smoother.
Yeah, not only with the big name sponsorships, you also have some great local sponsorships as well for the poll, and I think that really helps add to the poll.
Right.
With the Rantoul and the Champaign area, you got some great local sponsors as well.
Oh yeah, Gifford State Bank jumping on the light super class, and Andy Boer, he's employee of Gifford State Bank, and he's got a little diesel super stock, and he's trying diligently to get. He's waiting on parts, and hopefully he gets them if he can get it put together and get her fired. wish the best of luck to Andy. I'd like to see him bring that thing inside because that's what the class was designed for, instructors like him, and having a local guy there with one. We want to wish Andy the best of luck getting her put together this week. And I know the holidays and jammed up, and we got I'm sure Gordyville just when we're this early makes a lot of moms and wives really happy that our guys are working on pulling tractors around the holidays instead of being inside what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, you know what they'll be thinking about New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
I've been there. I know exactly how it works. So,
yes.
We thank everybody, and we thank the wives and the girlfriends for allowing their guys to come, around the holidays. If we appreciate their patience with us, and hopefully everybody can get it balanced out and they can have a good Christmas. And then after Christmas, it's pretty much game on then.
Yes, it will be. So, well, Clint, thanks for again taking some time to talk
with
us. And as we get another week closer, we'll talk to you next Monday night and see about any updates. And again, check out whatsmoking.net. You got your tickets and raffle tickets for sale as well. You got until the end of this month to get your tickets. So have a great rest of your night, Clint.
All right. Thank you, guys, and everybody out there. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
Take care.
Okay, that was Clint Tucker with us with the What's Smokin' promotions crew with Gordyville coming up just 2 weeks away. And then, of course, in-studio guest here, Matt Ingham with Wisconsin Pulling Promoters. If you're just tuning in, you can check out the video. We'll have it. It'll be ready to rewatch on Facebook. We talked about promoting here in the state of Wisconsin. Jason had to leave early at a Christmas choir concert with his kids tonight, so he had to be as a good dad tonight.
Yeah, it's a first for everything, I guess. So I give him a little flack that he's not here, but
yeah. Oh, I'm sure he'll get some text messages during the choir concert to see if his phone's, turned off.
a couple of tests. Yeah, that's for sure. So
he would be the dad that the phone would go off in the middle of a choir concert.
It doesn't matter where he is; that phone's probably going off nonstop. Yeah. It probably is right now with all the things we're saying. So.
Probably, I'm sure one of the Domans will probably give him a text or a call. So. But anything else you want to mention about Wisconsin Pulling Promoters and what you got coming up here before we sign off for the night?
I guess the big thing is just, reach out to me. A lot of people have, continue to do that. If you got something you just want to talk about, as far as your local pull or your big pull or whatever, get a hold of me. You can always message me on Facebook there, the website. My number's up there too. Just give me a call. The thing I want to do it bigger in 2017 is just, get a hold of more people, reach out to more people. Like I said, something I'm doing hopefully soon is I'm going to get a chance to kind of talk to each club, get it out there, let them kind of, talk a little bit about what they're doing, what's going on with their club, if there's any changes, get some publicity to what they're doing. The big thing is just do what we're doing now and just, continue, get some more momentum this year. So, I know Mike brought that up, Mike and I talked to a lot of people, it's been brought up numerous times about trying to do an indoor pull in Wisconsin, and I've heard a lot of not possibles, and I've heard some of, maybe someday. And
it's just finding that right facility and the right time.
Yep.
It's just all if it can come together at the, just like with Gordyville, it just all, I think, came together right at the right time.
Yeah, there was a couple of good ideas that came to me. One idea that I'm still kind of on the outskirts of pursuing, or at least looking at, is they built the new pavilions at the Lion Energy Center in Madison.
I've kind of heard about that too.
And one's New Holland, so I know that if we could possibly do something there, maybe New Holland would jump in on a sponsorship. So I was given the floor plans for it. It looked like one was about 300 feet. So
yeah, I think it'd definitely be long enough. I believe it'd definitely be wide enough.
Sure.
And I think it'd be enough end where you could at least have parking on the one end.
Yeah, so. And I mean, something that works out nice there is, and they got the other pavilion, which is you could park, your staging vehicles, put the haulers outside. But then the question is, the finances. You're basically renting out.
You have to rent the whole island, I believe, pretty much.
Yeah, you're pretty much renting half of the Alliant Energy Center, which.
But you'll have plenty of parking, so you don't have to, and all the haulers will be on pavement, so you don't, so there's definitely plenty of parking for that, and I think we have plenty of vehicles in the state to support it. It's just a matter of
and I think Madison, that would be so
that'd
unique.
Be tough,
that's the thing that I find difficult is living in the area, and you got the Dane County Fair, which is is one of the big fairs of Wisconsin, and they don't have a truck and tractor pull.
Yeah, when it's right in downtown Madison, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's on the island,
Yes.
so the Alliant Energy Center.
Yeah, it's just not, we don't get that big facility. If you could do something like that, maybe at, you'd almost have to move up to like Miller Park or Lambeau, and then you're talking,
And
lot
you just
of
don't
money.
really see that anymore with polling at big venues like it was maybe like the 80s and 90s, and venues like with Lambeau Field trying to, because it's all about the turf.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that's
and
just it, too. Yeah, everybody's so worried about, because it's not only the turf, but then what's underneath the turf.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so a lot of that comes down to, it's just the money's astronomical, and the facilities are so much, more intricate, and,
especially with those bigger facilities where it's going to look like you have a very small crowd because you got a 50,000
you got
seat facility,
yes,
but
you might have 10,000 people
maybe,
there.
yeah.
It's like that's just it too. Would it be financially worth it? So, but the idea is certainly out there. I've heard one other venue that got brought up to me was up by Menominee, or
New
not Menominee, but
Richmond,
up by the Cedar Lake Speedway has a facility. I was told that is a big indoor facility, kind of in the middle of the racetrack, and
I've heard they had some ventilation issues though with some of their. They have the midget cars there,
Oh,
so and they were having some issues with the ventilation, and they had it wasn't sucking up the fumes from the midget cars.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the great thing about an indoor pool is that it could be really anywhere in Wisconsin. I mean, it would be the only one you'd have everybody wanting to go there. So I mean, it doesn't have to be Madison. It doesn't have to be, Green Bay or Milwaukee. It can be anywhere. So.
there is a huge, actually, like it's owned by a church. It's up in Wisconsin Dells area, just north of the Wisconsin Dells, and they've actually looked into it, but this church facility won't let them serve alcohol there.
Oh, of course, yes,
so
that could be tricky.
That would be a big.
Well, especially in the winter, you need that, to stay warm.
Yes.
So.
Yeah,
So,
I think maybe Wisconsin, you might want to push it to like early spring. I think that'd be a good time for
yes.
Well,
and I mean, sometimes you get lucky too. I mean, we got so lucky this year with like the fall pulls, is that if you had a date, say early March, even if you just get just that right date,
Yeah.
But even
I think
then,
March,
it's just a lead up to it.
March would be a great time for an indoor pool here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, absolutely. And then that way it's just not too cold, because I mean you're going to spend so much time outside too at that type of event that, I mean, like right now, I mean, can you imagine going down to Gordyville?
Well, it's been 40 below 1 year, so
and I think we're lucky that right now we're getting the 40 below. So I think by the time Gordyville rolls around,
I'm hoping
it'll warm up.
The 30s, 40s, especially when you're in that Champaign area, it's a little bit warmer. Even only being 4 hours south, it's still a little bit warmer.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You are going further south.
Yes. So
yes.
not saying it's going to be always warmer, but because especially like Louisville, they've had snow during their February events, so snow and ice. So
yeah, I can't imagine that puts a whole new spin on pulling. You never think about that stuff when you're involved with it in the summertime. So,
but yeah, I think they definitely dealt with every type of weather situation at Gordyville. So.
Sure. Oh yeah, it's always going to be cold there regardless. So.
Yeah, they've had some 45 and 50 degree weather. A few years they got lucky. So
later January.
Yeah, it was middle to late January.
And I mean, the way we are nowadays. I mean, you saw what we had in November. I mean, there was hot days in November.
We had I think a 70-degree day. Right around my birthday.
And if you could just get lucky and pool that together and say, you know what, we're going to go with this day, and I mean, there it is. I mean, up by New Richmond there. So. I mean, there's a lot of different places. So
I think especially for the first year, if you can have good weather the first year and just kind of get a base of people.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, then you're not competing with so much. I mean, it's so difficult in Wisconsin throughout the summer.
I know.
It's
hard to even find
every
an
weekend.
open date.
It's packed. And that's why we got lucky this year, because my fall pull that we got to start up with the group there, we did it the weekend after Labor Day, which, we kind of harnessed some of those groups that are done pulling.
Yep.
There's less competition, and then unfortunately for Tri-State, their event got washed out. So then that moved some of the vehicles up to us
this year for some of their events. So.
Oh, it was unbelievable. But yeah, just to piggyback off this idea, if anybody if you have more ideas as far as an indoor pool venues like that, just again shoot it to us, shoot it to Brew Money. We'll collaborate on that, and we'll look around, because a lot of these venues we just don't know about, and bring it to our attention. So
And they probably, like, the people that own these venues never even thought of possibly even, because
No.
people at Gordyville, they probably never thought that they would be hosting an indoor tractor pull 13 years later.
And, I mean, yeah, look at and some people just don't understand too that there's
And this
money to be
facility
made there.
is literally in the middle of cornfields. It's surrounded by cornfields.
Oh,
So that's just telling this facility doesn't need to be by.
yeah. I mean, you put it anywhere and people will find it. You put it anywhere in
Yes.
Wisconsin, people will find it. So,
I mean, it helps. You're a 25-minute drive from Champaign or Urbana area.
oh,
So,
sure.
but the closest Rantoul, the closest town, has like 10,000 people. So,
Well, I mean,
So-
in Wisconsin, every small town has something to offer. So
Yeah.
that's the nice thing is you don't you don't have to be next to that big city. So
but hey, thanks for spending some time with us on a cold Monday night.
absolutely, yeah, it'll be a cool
Hopefully
night
have a
back.
safe drive
cool,
home.
cool drive
Yes.
back. So
And everyone out there still listening, tune in next Monday night, 7 p.m. We'll see who we can find to drag out of the cold and join us here.
thaw them off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So if anyone can help Matt get his heater going, that'd be appreciated too.
Yeah, I gotta maybe go fix that right now so I can get home in one piece. So
Yeah.
thank you again to all the work you guys do out here at Beer Money. Again, I get an opportunity to collaborate with you guys an awful lot, and it's been a lot of fun. And keep doing what you guys are doing, and for all the fans and pullers out there, just keep working with us. We're going to work with you, and we're going to hopefully bring pulling to new heights. So it's been a lot of fun, and this is just what we're doing. It's just a passion, and we want to keep it going, keep the momentum going. So
Yeah, we had a reach of 98,000 tonight, so
we'll take
another
it.
great reach, and especially after some of the social media issues we kind of had last week, but I think we got them straightened out and got the 2 pages together and just having 1 page.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to work out a lot better.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think, anytime Jason leaves, ratings go up.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So just maybe something for
Yes.
future thought.
Yes. So, again, for Jason Schultz, Brandon Johnson, I'm Ryan Zolik, Matt Ingham with Wisconsin Polling Promotions, and Clint Tucker.
Clint Tucker.
And
Yeah.
Clint Tucker with What's Woke Promotions. We'll see you next Monday night. Have a great night, everyone.